Hello and welcome to The Big Interview. Sourcing funding can be a difficult task for first-time entrepreneurs and small business owners. There are many things to consider when trying to raise capital for your business. Well, here to help us understand the financial options available to entrepreneurs is the Head of Professional and Small Business Banking Sales at Nedbank, Alan Shannon. Alan, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Now, when a bank receives an application from an entrepreneur for funding, what are some of the things that you consider?
So it does depend on whether it's an entrepreneur who's starting out in entrepreneurship for the first time, or whether it's an entrepreneur that's been in business for some time. Most of what we see is actually from entrepreneurs that have been in business. And typically the type of things that we look for when specifically they're looking for funding is their track record. You know, transactionally, how have they performed since they started up their business? We will often ask for information that helps us understand and show us evidence of what that track record has been, whether it's in the form of bank statements held by us or with other institutions, financial statements, normally in the form of balance sheets and income statements, signed off by an accountant. So financial information is relevant. I think the other thing we look at as a bank is people's credit history. So it's one of the most important things people can pay attention to, because the moment you approach a bank and you come up to a bank with a credit history that perhaps is not as clean as we'd like it to be, you really are on the back foot when trying to seek finance from a bank in particular.
And is that a difficult process? Is it difficult for entrepreneurs to get funding?
It depends, because it depends on what they're looking for funding for. You know, so money comes in many forms from banks. There's short-term funding, there's medium-term funding, there's long-term funding. So it really depends on where you're at in your business life. I think people that are looking for funding to kick off new businesses, it is difficult, because they've got to put a strong case together that says they have an idea or a concept that is solving a problem that they feel very strongly about, that they have potential orders in the pipeline, and are able to project what sort of their cash flow is going to look like. As they come to us well prepared, even if they are startups, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. I think banks typically are not the best source of fundings for startup finance. You know, one of the things that's becoming more popular around the world, and particularly in South Africa, is crowdfunding. Finding people that are prepared to invest in you, whether it's through your family or friends or contacts, is often a good starting place to find some seed capital. So it can be difficult, but it doesn't need to be if you're well prepared as an entrepreneur.
What about someone who's young and who's only starting out and they don't have a credit record? What options do they have?
So they need, really a priority for them needs to be around creating a credit record. I think as Nedbank, we will help them with that process by opening up and establishing a banking account and banking relationship for them. The quicker they can start transacting with a bank such as ours, the better, because behind the scenes, a record is developing all the time. So I mean, I think we have a role within the bank called a relationship banker specifically for small business clients that come in and require assistance. And you know, each case is different. So relationship bankers are there really to interpret the situation that each entrepreneur finds itself in and to provide them advice which is bespoke to their particular situation.
Let's talk about these relationship bankers. What specifically do they do for small businesses?
So I think they offer small businesses a single point of contact within the bank. They offer the small business entrepreneur the ability to start forming a meaningful relationship with someone within the bank that's going to help them on their journey, whether it's raising finance, being able to open up transactional accounts. I mean, I'll give you an example. As consumers, we know what it's like when we have faceless people on the other side of the telephone. You know, for instance, if we were seeking to engage with a mobile phone company around our bill, the chances are we're going to have to phone when we get through to a call center, and we're not quite sure who we're going to get hold of on the other side of the line. And when we call again, there's a very strong likelihood that we're not going to reach the same person. Now that's frustrating for consumers because they have to tell their entire story again. A relationship banker negates the need for that, because you have someone dedicated to your account, you tell your story once, they understand your business, and they walk through, you know, they embark on this journey with you and provide you with all the advice and solutions you could need from a bank.
Do you find that funding needs differ between different sectors? So someone who's in medicine might need different funding options as opposed to someone who's in manufacturing per se?
100%. So from one industry to the next, there's different requirements. One takes the retail industry for a second. Often there's a finance requirement to help them bring in stock. There's solutions to help them accept credit cards through the mechanism of a point of sale machine. So there's some working capital requirements. Manufacturing clients have totally different requirements. They've got to be able to fund the purchase of raw materials. They've got to fund the equipment that is required to be able to transform those raw materials into a product. And then they need short-term facilities to sort of bridge that period between when they invoice out these goods and when they eventually collect payment from their clients.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the head of professional and small business banking sales at Nedbank. And that's it from us at The Big Interview.